Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the whole house, the whole Ba'if of Yasha'al. All 12 tribes worldwide. Wherever your feet are touching the soil on this most Kadush Yom, which is a sign and a seal and a mark of the everlasting covenant between Yahuwah and his people. It is the day in which identifies Yasha'al as his people. It is the day in which identifies Yahuwah as the Elohim of creation. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to the elder brother Yahudym. Shabbat Shalom to the younger brother Ephraim. Shabbat Shalom to the former stranger, the former foreigner, who was formerly estranged from the everlasting covenant and promise and inheritance, but now having been engrafted into the olive tree, whereby having received the Ruach of adoption, the Ruach HaKadosh, the Ruach of Mashiach, and having been engrafted into the olive tree, who is Yahusha, who is Yasha'al, and whereby now being privy to the same everlasting covenant and promise and inheritance that was given to Yasha'al and to Yasha'al alone. Shabbat Shalom to you. Wherever your feet are touching the soil, peace and blessings, Shalom and Barakut to you and your entire house. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom on this most Kadush Yom. Once again, for those of you who are on YouTube, we're grateful that you have stopped by to join us in YAHUAH'S Remnant Shabbat gathering. We are humbled. We do not take this for granted. We are indeed humbled that the Master has sent you our way. Once again, for those of you who are on YouTube who will watch this message or this teaching later on, if you would desire to join us live, you will find our contact information. It is located within the channel description. You will find our contact information there. It is there that you will find an email address that you may email us if you desire to join us live. Nevertheless, Shabbat Shalom to you and your entire house. Peace and blessings. Shalom and Barakut to you and all who are associated or attached to you and your house. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Barak Yahuwah. Once again, this is YAHUAH'S Remnant Shabbat gathering. I am Dawood Ben Yahuwah, and this is my Aisha Ashiyah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Here we are once again, another Shabbat Yom, and the journey continues. This journey, however many twists and turns that it has taken, and this journey is shortly, as it applies to the house of Yahudym, this journey is soon to come to an end. Indeed, this is the consummation of the times. This is a mu'adah. This is an appointed season of which the Master is going about the work of sealing his people with the seal of the living Elohim upon their forehead. Indeed, the Master has shown us that the ones that are indeed being sealed right now are the elder brother, the elder daughter, the house of Yahudah, whom will be given into marriage first. The younger daughter is to be given in marriage afterwards. This is a truth that the Master has not revealed to any other generation, and he has revealed it to this one because the time draws nigh. Indeed, the doors of the ark are closing, and that proverbial window is indeed closing as well, to where once that window is closed, no more wind, no more breath is going to flow through that window. He's going to shut off that wind. He's going to shut off the breath. He's going to turn off the water when he comes to gather his elder daughter, when he comes to gather his elder son, and to bring her and to gather into marriage with him upon Mount Zion, where he will be given a song that no one else can sing. And so the plea has gone forth. The plea has gone forth to the four corners of the earth, to whomever The Master has given eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart to understand that indeed this is a mu'adah, this is an appointed time, and that if indeed you desire to escape the hour of trial, that you must be joined and connected to the house of Yahudah. You must, in fact, yes, the house of Yahudah does go first. Yahudah does go first. And if you desire to escape the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon this earth, then you must ensure that you are connected to the house of Yahudah through Hanassah, who is the branch, whereby becoming branches of his, whereby becoming an extension of his side, whereby as Kua was born of Adam, you then becoming born or reborn of the second Adam, and whereby becoming branches, whereby becoming Nazarene, an extension of him, whereby looking just like him, becoming identical to him, whereby speaking like him, talking like him, walking like him, being a Torah made flesh just like him, being his counterpart in the earth in this season, being his helpmeet, being his Azah Nagah, being so bright of a light that the nations would be drawn to that light as moths are drawn to candles, so that perhaps they would be saved from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon this earth. Indeed, Yahudah does go first. Yahudah does go first, and I'm not going to review that anymore. If you desire to understand, if this is the first video that you've watched, for those of you on YouTube, you're doing yourself a terrible disservice. You need to start back perhaps 10 videos or more to catch up to where the Master has us in this season. So I'm not going to review that. The time draws short, and we don't have time to hit replay. We don't have time to review. In fact, I don't know what the Master's going to say from week to week. I've shared this with the Zoom family. What the words you hear, we're hearing these words at the same time. This is not rehearsed. This is not some note-taking venue. This doesn't come from notes. What you hear is real time. You're hearing the words of the Master real time. When you hear them, I hear them. We're hearing them at the same time. And so I don't have time to go back, because the messages are coming real time. And they're coming real time because they're urgent. They are urgent. These messages are not rehearsed. The Master simply gives me precepts, and I don't rehearse the precepts. I don't look at the precepts. I don't know what he's going to say about the precepts until he begins to speak about them. And so today he's going to speak on some precepts that he wants to speak about. And when you hear the words, I will hear the words as he speaks through me. So I don't have time to go back and review and to hit replay. The time is too short. It is much too short. And that season of sealing, it is only going to continue until the number of those who are to be sealed have been sealed. After that number has been obtained, no more are going to be sealed. No more are going to be sealed. Indeed, there is an appointed time and place and season for everything under the sun. And once that number has been reached of 144,000 and those attached, he's not sealing anymore. That season will come to an end. That window will be shut. The doors of the ark will be closed, and it will be too late. It will then be too late. And so understanding the urgency of that, and understanding that in fact Yahudah goes first, it is important that we ensure that we are walking as Yahudym. And it is important that we understand that we are in fact attached to Yahudah, because there are many who say that they're Yahudym and are not. And the Master has given us some characteristics of those who say that they're Yahudym and are not. And he's been showing us now, as we have been following Hanassah, which is to say the branch, who is Yahushua HaMashiach. As we've been following him, he's shown us what a Nazarene looks like, what a true Yahudym looks like. And that is someone who, quite frankly, who looks just like him, who walks just like him, who talks just like him, who is a visible image of him, who looks no different than him. This is what a true Yahudi looks like. This is what a Nazarene truly looks like. And so if you are associated or attached to someone or an assembly and they don't look like the Messiah, then you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. If the anointing is not there, because indeed the anointing is the seal of a priest. And Yahudah, in Yahudah, the scepter shall not pass from him, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh comes. Again, the anointing is the seal of a priest. We're not talking about physical oil. We're talking about the anointing of the Ruach HaKodesh. This is what identifies a priest. This is what identifies a Kahan. And so, if the assembly in which you're involved in, if the priesthood is not there, if they're not walking as not serene, and indeed meek and lowly is the way. If they are not walking as not serene, and I when I say that, I mean consistently walking as not serene, consistently walking and looking as the Hamashiach, then there's a good chance that these are not Yahudi, these are not serene, these are not the ones that you want to be attached to or associated with in this season, in this Muadah, which is fastly coming to a close, And so we want to continue this journey. We want to continue to ensure that we are walking as Yahudym, that we are fitting the bill, so to speak, for lack of a better word, that we are walking as the Mashiach, that we look just like him, that as Kua was born from the side of Adam, that we have been reborn indeed from the side of the second Adam, that indeed we have received this breath, we have received the spirit of the living Elohim, that we have indeed been sealed with the seal of the living Elohim upon our foreheads, having been reborn, not of flesh, of blood, but of water and of Ruach, and then walking requisite of that, because it's not enough to have received breath and to have been called a Nazarene, to having been called as bride. If we are in fact that, we must walk requisite of that identity. We must walk requisite of that identifying marker. We must walk as Yahusha walked. We must walk as Nazarene, as branches of his. And if we are indeed connected to him, having been brought from his side, then again, as he is, we are. As he is, we are. So that when he comes, he will identify us as his own, and he will find us well doing, so that he will then reward us according to our works. That he will reward us according to our works. What works are those? That is the works of Torah. That is the works of Torah. Being living Torah. Being Torah made flesh. That is the Torah. That is in fact the works of Torah. But the Master has sent me by today to teach his people, to remind his people that the works of Torah, the true works of Torah, are not of flesh and blood. Please hear him. The true works of Torah are not of flesh and blood. This is the example that Hanasah, the branch, has shown us, that the true works of Torah are not of flesh and blood. I'm reminded of a testimony that one of my sons shared with us before we began to record, for those of you on YouTube, and where the Master impressed upon him to go and pray for someone of whom he affectionately calls Pops, of whom he sees as a father figure. And he impressed upon him to go and pray for him and spend time with him. You see, this indeed is the works of Torah. But the Master wants you to understand is that he went on further to say that he was led to pray for him and cry out for him and call out to him. He was led to pray for him. And this older man, whom was diagnosed by doctors as having a lung disease, of having fluid in his lungs and not being able to breathe, text him proclaiming hallelujah, hallelujah, that he could breathe and that he slept. See, this is what the Master wants you to understand. That's compassion. That's the true works of Torah. The true works of Torah is not flesh and blood, because the Master wants you to understand that Torah is not of this earth. No, it isn't. Torah is not of this world. Torah was not given by Masha. Torah was given through Masha. But Torah preceded Masha. Torah was from the very beginning. Is it not, little one? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The Word is Torah. It was from the very beginning. It was from the very beginning. So Torah comes from above. Torah is not of this earth. Therefore, we cannot do the works of Torah in the flesh, because Torah is not of this world. Understand this. Be no longer children. Torah doing the works of Torah is not of this world. We are called again, as the master spoke this past fourth night, otherwise what some call Wednesday. We're called to feed the poor. But what if there's no food around? How do you feed them then? You still got to operate in the Torah. The true works of Torah is not of this earth. It's not of this world. What if they're thirsty and there's no water? The master showed us that he used one of his servants to strike a rock and brought forth water from a rock. In another case, he told him to speak to the rock, but he allowed the frustration of the people to cause them to strike it again. Nevertheless, water came flowing from the rock. That's the works of Torah, to giving those water who are thirsty. That's the true works of Torah. Shortly after coming out of Mashrangim, they came upon bitter water. And the master showed his servant how to find a tree and to throw it into the water, and the waters were made sweet. That's the true works of Torah. That's the true works of Torah. When the people began to hunger, what happened? The master sent down lakam shamayim, that is to say the bread from heaven, to feed a hungry people. This is Torah. This is the true works of Torah. The true works of Torah, and Torah itself is not of the earth. Hear him. It is not. Nothing good comes from this earth. This earth has been given to flesh. Hear him. This earth has been given to flesh, and nothing good can come from this earth. Torah, the true works of Torah, comes from above. He's speaking to a people that is grown today. He's speaking to the mind of a people who are no longer thinking as children, but who are coming into the understanding of who they are and what it means to be an extension of the Mashiach, of what it means to be a branch, or what it means to be Nazarene, what it means to be as he is. As he is. Everything that he did was Torah. Everything. Everything. But he came to show us, hear him, the true works of the Torah. Look around you. This earth has changed. And it ain't gonna never be the same again. And we're now, he is preparing us, Yahudym, to be that light, but to operate in the true works of the Torah. In the true works of Torah. To be fruit-bearing plants or trees. Hear him? During a time of famine. To be light, to be water-producing rocks during a time of drought. To be light-producing lamps during a time of darkness. As when Moshe came down from the mountain, his face shone like a light. His face shone. To be light-producing lamps during the time of darkness. This ain't the time to be children no more. This is the time to be grown folk. To be grown and to understand what Torah is. Torah is spiritual. It is spiritual. The true works of Torah, therefore, cannot be accomplished in the flesh. Torah is too heavy of a weight to bear for the flesh. This is why the sign of the covenant cannot be given in the flesh, because the flesh cannot bear the weight of covenant. The sign of the covenant must be given with via hand. It must be made with. It must be made. Barak Yahuwah. It cannot be made with hands. It cannot be made with hands. The true circumcision cannot be made with human hands. It has to be made not with hands. Not with hands. In the same way that Adam and Kua were brought into covenant with the skins covering them. This circumcision cannot be made with hands. It is a spiritual circumcision. It is made by Ruach, by spirit. Because the flesh is unable to bear the covenant. The flesh is unable to bear the Torah. Come on. Don't be children no more. From esteem to esteem. He gives us childlike instructions to teach us about deeper spiritual matters. Deeper spiritual matters. He is calling upon us, yes, to feed the hungry. Yes, he is. He's calling us to give water to the thirsty. He's calling us to visit the sick, but not just visit them, to heal the sick. He is calling us to show compassion. As Abraham showed compassion, and he went to funerals to mourn the dead of the land. He's calling us to go, but to go in a spirit and a ruach of compassion, and go and raise that person from the dead that is in that casket, whose tongue is already glued to their mouth, having no more organs in their body, no more blood in their body. Being operating in the example that Yahushua showed us when he went to raise Lazarus from the dead. You see, the dead had been raised before. Yes, they had. Yahu raised the dead. Isha raised the dead. The dead had been raised before, but understand, no one had ever been raised from the dead who was dead for 4 days. For 4 days. No one had ever been raised from the dead who had been dead for 4 days. You see, he did things that had never been done before to show us the true works of the Torah. No, he was already stinking. No one had ever raised anyone from the dead that was 4 days old, that had been dead for 4 days. He did that to show us the true works of Torah. That was compassion. That was compassion, because he was moved to compassion, because there you will find what they say is the shortest scripture in the whole of the Bible. Yahushua wept. He wept because they were hurt. They were hurting because their brother had died, and he was moved to compassion. And he operated in Torah. He operated in Torah and moving to compassion, the weightier matters of the Torah, right rule and compassion and belief. And he operated in compassion, which is what the Torah is all about. The Torah is love. The Torah is compassion. You can't do that in your flesh. The true works of the Torah are not of this world. Hear him. The true works of Torah are not of this world. And he's calling us to no longer be children, but to be adults and to truly do the works of the Torah. To do the true works of the Torah. Raising the dead like he raised Lazarus after 4 days. Going into funeral settings and raising those who don't have any blood in their bodies. They're cold. Their heart has been removed. Their organs have been removed. Their tongues are glued to their mouth. But going there and under the power of the anointing. Being vessels of him, because we ain't raising anybody. He's raising them through us. But being vessels anointed by him to go in and show the true works of Torah. The true works of Torah. Hear him. Some of them stiff-necked people are not going to believe unless they see something like this. They don't believe your words. No matter how much truth is spoken in these words, they're not going to believe them. They must see the true works of the Torah. The true works of the Torah. Raising the dead, that's compassion. That's compassion. Not only that, but little one, it's not the Torah life. The Torah is life. It says if you do this, you will live. You will live by them. The Torah is life. So go and speak life to the dead. That's Torah. But understand that the true works of the Torah is not of this world. Speak life to a dead corpse. That's the true works of the Torah. Don't be children no more. You see, too many are addicted to the letter. Too many are addicted to the pages, to the letter. And they don't understand the intent of what they're reading. The Mashiach declared that you search these scriptures because in them you think that they contain life. But you don't know that they speak of me. I am life. I am Ruach. I am the living Torah. And he came as a living Torah to show us how to do the true works of the Torah. To do the true works of the Torah. We ain't doing the true works of the Torah unless we operating in Ruach, unless we operating as the Mashiach. And this is what he's calling Yahudah, true Yahudym. True Yahudym, true Nazarene, to do in this season. You want to be found well doing. Grow up. We've got to grow up, Yahudah. We've got to be that light. And we've got in this season to do the true works of Torah. Their lives at stake. There are billions of people who are going to die. Hear him. There are billions who are going to die. And we have been given an awesome responsibility in this season as true Yahudah, as Nazarene, to be that light, to do the true works of the Torah, to draw men out of darkness into his marvelous light. So that perhaps some of them would attach themselves to Yahudah through Hanassah, through Yahushua HaMashiach, and be gathered to him on Mount Zion to be saved from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon this earth. And so the master wants to show that foundation. So going forward, that you understand what it is the Mashiach is doing. That's Torah. That's Torah. That's the true works of Torah. That is the true works of Torah. True works of Torah. Operating in the supernatural, in the spiritual, because Torah is spiritual. That is the true works of Torah. But operating in this way, out of compassion, right ruling, compassion, and belief, the weightier matters of the Torah. Operating out of compassion first and foremost, not because you're seeking some platform, not because you want importance, not because you want people to notice you, not because you want people to talk about you, not because you want to be relevant in the so-called Hebrew community, but because you are moved to compassion, because you love Yahuwah and you love his people, and you just want to be a servant. Operating in the true works of Torah, from that motivation, from the motivation of compassion. That's the true works of Torah. This is what the world is waiting on. To see the true works of Torah. The true works of Torah, of which the Hamashiach has shown us as Hanassah, and as we as branches, as those who went before us, as the taught ones, who were the first Nazarene, the 12 and the 70, and others who were attached. They went forth into all the world, to Yahudah and to Shamaun and to the uttermost parts of the earth. They went into the earth operating, doing the true works of the Torah. As Ambassador Shaul declared, I didn't come to you in word only, but I came to you in power. I came to you in power. In one passage he said they did this so that you would know what manner of men we are. So that they would believe. So that they would believe this is the true works of Torah. He didn't do that to boast in himself. He did that so that they would believe. And because Shaul was full of love. He was full of love. He was full of compassion. No different than the Mashiach. No different than Yahushua HaMashiach. No different than him. And so the true works of Torah has to come from love. It has to come from a place of compassion. Not seeking some platform. Not seeking to be known, because the HaMashiach didn't want to be known. He not seeking importance, or not seeking some kind of relevance. Not seeking to be relevant in the so-called Hebrew community. But just to do the true works of Torah, which always comes from the place of compassion, because Torah is compassion. Torah is life. But Torah is not of this earth. Hear him. Torah is not of this earth. Torah comes from above. It is not of this earth. And thus, the Torah, the true works of Torah, cannot be accomplished in this. There's nothing good in the flesh. There is nothing good in this earth. This earth has been given to flesh. We can only do the true works of Torah in Ruach and in truth. In Ruach and in truth. And so line by line, precept by precept, here a little, there a little. Let's continue to look at Hanassah, the branch, Yahushua HaMashiach, to ensure that we are not serene, to ensure that we are doing the same works of the Torah that he did, that he came to show us, the very same works. No longer being his children, but being adults, no longer walking in unbelief, but understanding fully who we are, understanding that we are the son of the living Elohim, provided that you have been born of water and of spirit, and that Yahushua HaMashiach came as the son of the living Elohim. He came as us. He came as us. He is Yahuwah in flesh, and he came as us. And so the son of the living Elohim is supposed to look like him. We're supposed to look like him and do the true works of the Torah that he did. That he did. This is what he's calling from us. This is what he's asking for. This is what he's asking Yahudah to do. Before he comes to get Yahudah, this is what he's asking Yahudah to do. Hear him? Hear him. This is what he's asking Yahudah to do as Nazarene, as true Yahudym. Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Line by line, precept by precept. Here a little, there a little. Searching for the ancient path, part 62. Searching for the ancient path, part 62. Walk as Yahudym. Walk as Yahudym. And again, if you're going to write a subtopic, it's important not to veer away from this. Meek and lowly is the way. Even as walking as Nazarene, walking as Yahudym, we cannot forget that meek and lowly is the way. If we remain meek and lowly, we will never be puffed up. We will never be looking for importance or looking to be out front or looking to be relevant in the so-called Hebrew community. Just going about our business, going about the Father's business. Just wanting to be pleasing to Him. Operating in compassion. Doing the true works of the Torah. Meek and lowly is the way if you're looking for a subtitle. Barak Yahuwah. But line by line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Let's look at Hanasah and let's look at what it looks like to be true Yahudym, which is to say true Nazarene, which is to say true Nazarene, so that indeed we are found well doing when the Master comes shortly, very soon, to gather His elder daughter, used interchangeably with the elder son, to gather us unto Himself on Mount Zion. And hearing those words, well done, my good and my trustworthy servant. You've been trustworthy over a few things. I'm going to make you a ruler over much, over many. And so before getting to that, we're going to reiterate, or the Master's going to iterate that indeed, hear him, the Torah ain't of the flesh. That's why the circumcision can't be of the flesh for an adult. We still circumcise our 8-day-old sons. But the circumcision of the flesh for an adult, it can't be of the flesh. Your flesh cannot bear the weight of the Torah. It has to be of the heart, the one not made with hands, one done by the Ruach HaKodesh, who then comes to circumcise our heart when He enters us as a man enters a woman, and whereby making that circumcision in the heart, and whereby covering the nakedness of the heart, whereby covering the shame of the heart, as all sin, all crime, all wickedness proceeds from the heart. Sin, crime, wickedness is seen and is seen synonymously with, he's using big words through me today, little one, but I'm tongue-tied. It's used she's laughing at me. It's used in the same light, in the same language with nakedness. To be sinful, to be shameful, to be dirty, is used in the same light as being naked. Indeed, an uncircumcised man is seen as being naked, whereas a circumcised man is seen as being clean or covered, because the skin has then grown over the circumcised flesh of the penis in such a way that the nakedness is no longer exposed in it. And so uncircumcision is seen as being naked, as when our ancestors came from Egypt, and only the children made it into the promised land. And because all the adults had died, and because these children had not been circumcised, He commanded Yahushua to then circumcise them before they entered into the land. And so all of the males of the children of the ones who had died in the wilderness were circumcised. After this, the master spoke to Yahushua these words. He says, "This day I have removed the shame of Egypt from you." When He circumcised them, when He covered their nakedness, He said, "This day I have removed the shame of Egypt from you," or the degradation of Egypt from you. And this place is called Gilgal, or Galgal, to this day. And so when our husband, as a husband is commanded to provide food, clothing, and marital rights to his wife, when we enter into covenant with Him, circumcision is the sign of the covenant. When we enter into covenant with Him, in other words, when we marry Him as our husband, then He clothes us. He clothes us. Our husband is not flesh and blood. He is not flesh and blood. When we enter into covenant with Him, He removes the shame and the degradation and the nakedness of the heart. He is that dam, that blood. The heart and the nephesh are intertwined. They are joined. This is why sometimes you sense something here, you feel it here at the same time. that they're joined. They're joined. And so he is not flesh and blood. He is not flesh and blood. And so he removes that shame of the heart. He removes those memories. As the writer of Hebrews declares that the blood of bull, goats, and sheep cannot take away crime, nor can it take away the conscience of crime. The heart is connected with the conscience. See, he removes that guilt. He removes that shame. He removes the conscience of crime when he comes in and circumcises the heart, and he clothes the nakedness of the heart. And he clothes us as a husband, as a good husband does. He clothes us and he removes us. So this is circumcision not made with hands. That blood, that can't, our own blood and the blood of bull, goats, and sheep, which represented our blood, can't take away shame, can't take away the conscience of shame. Only he can. When his spirit enters us as a man enters a woman and circumcises the heart. Barak Yahuwah, and circumcises the heart. And so line by line, precept upon precept, the Torah is spiritual. And the works of the Torah, it's all spiritual. It's all spiritual. The works of the Torah are spiritual, which we cannot accomplish in this. We can only accomplish the true works of Torah in Ruach and in truth. In Ruach and in truth. Turn with us to Romans chapter 7, verse 14. Romans chapter 7, verse 14. Romans chapter 7, verse 14. Yahudah is not children. Yahudah is not a child. Yahudah is understanding these things. And understanding is receiving that the true works of Torah, it's not of the flesh, it's in spirit. And that he is calling us to be adults now. He is calling for us to be adults and to walk this way, not as children. Ephraim is still walking as a child. He's still walking as a child. And the father is going to have to be driven out of him in the great distress. But Yahudah is supposed to be full grown now and understanding what the true works of the Torah looks like, and subsequently aligning himself and herself with the true works of the Torah, provided that you've been born of him as Kua was born of Adam, that you've been born of him, having been taken from his side as a vine, as a branch, being branches of the branch, being Nazarene, therefore being as he is, we are. As he is, we are connected to him again. As he is, we are. Romans chapter 7, verse 14. Reading verse 14, read, little one.
For we know that the Torah is spiritual, but I am fleshly, sold under sin.
Flesh can't do Torah. Flesh can't do the true works of Torah. It can't. It cannot. The flesh cannot do, hear him, the flesh cannot do the true works of the Torah. The Torah is spiritual. It is Ruach. And we can only accomplish the true works of the Torah, which Hanasah, Yahushua HaMashiach, has shown us. We can only accomplish it in Ruach. Only in Ruach can we accomplish the true works of Torah. So here we are back at this crossroad. Back at this crossroad, the master has been proclaiming since he began to open my mouth. Be reborn, be reborn, be reborn. Receive his breath. Receive his breath. Be reborn from above. He's been proclaiming the same message since he began to open my mouth. But just as the children of old, you don't like the manna. You don't like that manna. No. You don't understand that the manna is Ruach, that it is the bread from Shamayim. And Yahushua declares in John 6 that I am the bread from Shamayim. I am the Lakam Shamayim. Your father ate bread and died. That bread represented me. You don't understand that. Where did that bread come from? It came from Shamayim. That was the Torah manifesting for our ancestors. Food appearing out of nowhere. Feeding our ancestors the true works of the Torah. And the same way that the true works of the Torah manifested with all Yahu when he was running from our Izabal. And bread and water just appeared under a tree. That's the true works of the Torah. And he went to sleep and woke up and there was more bread and water to keep him for 40 days. Do you think regular bread and water would keep him for 40 days? Give him the strength to go 40 days and 40 nights without food? On the move? On the move. Do you think normal bread sustained our ancestors for 40 years? Oh, little one, I pray they grow up. Do you? It is the Ruach who gives life. The flesh profits nothing. The bread sustains. It gives life. But they rejected the bread. They rejected the bread and they died. They preferred that meat in Egypt. They preferred those abominable things in the pots of Egypt. Some of you do too, because you're still rejecting the living bread. You're still rejecting the bread. And if you're rejecting the bread, you're not a Yahudym. You're not a true Yahudym. You're not a Nazarene. You can't be a Nazarene unless you've been born. Unless you've taken in the bread. Unless you've eaten of his flesh and drank of his blood, which is Ruach. You can't be a Nazarene unless this has occurred. And if you are a Nazarene, then you ought to do the same works that Ha-Nazar did. The true works of the Torah. The true works of the Torah, which can't be accomplished in this. Give us another precept, little one.
We have James 3, 13, 18.
James, Yahakub rather. Yahakub, James chapter 3. James, Yahakub chapter 3. James, Yahakub chapter 3. Some of you got breath. You just need to activate. You just need to activate what's in you. And the way to activate what's in you is through belief. Just operate in it. Just speak it. Just operate in it. Just operate in it. It is the master who heals. It is the master who casts out devils. It is the master who raises the dead through us, which is earthen vessels. Earthen vessels of use for him. Activated through belief. Walk is not serene. Walk is true Yahudi men and women. Understanding that the true works of Torah cannot be accomplished in flesh. Yahakub, James chapter 3. What verses, little one?
13, 18.
Verses 13 through 18. James, Yahakub chapter 3. Verses 13 through 18. Just reiterating what the master's already spoken. Beginning at verse 13. Read, little one.
Who is wise and understanding among you?
Hear him. Who is wise and understanding among you?
Let him show by his good behavior.
Let him show by his good works, by his good behavior, by the true works of the Torah. Read.
His works in meekness of wisdom.
And meekness of wisdom, of chokmah. Do you not understand that Torah is our chokmah? It is. It is. And it comes from above, as James is getting ready to tell you. Come on, read.
But if you have bitter jealousy,
yes,
and self-seeking in your hearts,
if you're seeking a platform, if you're seeking to be relevant in the so-called Hebrew community, if you're seeking importance, if you want people to see you, that's not from above. That's not the wisdom from above. That's from below. That's of the adversary. That's wicked and demonic. Come on, read, little one.
Do not boast against and lie against the truth.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the wisdom coming down from above.
This is not the wisdom coming down from above. Torah is not of the earth. Torah is our chokmah, is our wisdom. It comes from above. We can't do the works of Torah in the flesh. Hear him. Read, little one.
But it is earthly, unspiritual, demonic.
Demonic. And so the wisdom from below, which is of the adversary, is demonic and sensual. It's from him. That self-seeking, that wanting a platform, that wanting to be important, that wanting to be heard all the time and wanting to be seen and wanting to be relevant. This is not from the Father. That's from the adversary. That's from the devil. It is demonic. But the point being here, that chokmah, that Torah, which is our wisdom, it comes from above. It is not of this earth. It's not of this earth. Therefore, I don't understand why people think that they can keep the Torah from a place of flesh, from this earth. We can't keep the Torah, truly do the works of Torah in this. It's not from this place. We must be born from the same place in which the Torah came from, and whereby having the Torah written upon the heart to truly do the true works of the Torah. Come on, read.
For where jealousy and self-seeking are, there is confusion in every foul deed. But the wisdom from above is first clean.
But the wisdom from above, the chokmah from above, Torah from above, is first clean because what? Torah is clean. Torah teaches us to make a distinction between the clean and the unclean. If we operate in the Torah, then we are operating in cleanness. But the chokmah from above is first clean. Read.
Then peaceable.
Then peaceable.
Gentle.
Gentle. This is Torah. Read.
Ready to obey.
Ready to obey. Torah is all about submitting. All about submitting. It's all about obedience. It's all about servanthood. It's all about submitting to the Father's orders as obedient children. You cannot obey without being a servant. You cannot obey without submitting. It's all about submitting. Come on, read.
Filled with compassion and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy.
This comes from above. This is Torah. This is Torah. This is all Torah. Torah is truth. There is no hypocrisy or falsehood in the Torah. To the Torah and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, there is no light, there is no truth in them. So we cannot do the works of the Torah, Torah coming from above. We cannot do the true works of Torah from a place of flesh. Torah is not of flesh and blood. Torah is not of this earth. And to do the true works of Torah, we must operate in ruach and in truth. And this is the example that the branch Hanassar is showing us. Read, little one.
And the fruit of righteousness is sown in shalom by those who make shalom.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Give us another precept, little one.
Deuteronomy 4, 1 through 6.
Deuteronomy, Dabarim 4, 1 through 6. Deuteronomy 4. Just laying the foundation. So as we go forward and looking at the branch and looking at Yahusha and looking at Hanassar, what you're going to understand is that this is all Torah. This is all the true works of the Torah that he's doing. Not of this world, not of this earth. The problem with the Pharisees is that they operated in flesh. They were religious. They were religious. They operated in the flesh. The Torah is too heavy, it's too powerful for the flesh. The only way to do the true works of the Torah, in which they did not understand. This is why they called them a heretic. Because they did not understand what the true works of the Torah looked like, because they were fleshly, they were carnally minded, as many of you still are. They were fleshly and carnally minded, so they did not understand what the true works of the Torah looked like. And him operating in the true works of the Torah, they called them a heretic. They called them a devil, because they did not understand what the true works of the Torah look like. Deuteronomy, Dabarim, chapter 4, verses 1 through 6. Deuteronomy, Dabarim, chapter 4, verses 1 through 6. Beginning at verse 1. Come on, read, little one.
And now, O Yasharal, listen to the commands and the right rulings which I am teaching you to do, so that you live, and shall go in and possess the land which Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers is giving you. Do not add to the word which I command you, and do not take away from it, so as to guard the commands of Yahuwah your Elohim.
So as to guard the commands of Yahuwah. This comes from his mouth. He is not of this earth. He is from above. Torah means instructions. These are the words that come from the mouth of our Father. This comes from above. It is ruach. It is ruach. And we cannot accomplish the true works of the Torah in the flesh, because it is ruach. Please get this. He's called. Listen. He's coming to get adults. He's coming to get the elder son, the elder daughter, one who is operating in the true works of the Torah. You want to get to Mount Zion? We've got to do the true works of the Torah. We've got to be found working when he comes, doing the true works of the Torah. Having been found well doing. Hear him. Hear him. Read, little one.
Which I am commanding you. Your eyes have seen what Yahuwah did at Baal Pa'or, for Yahuwah your Elohim has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Pa'or, but you who are clinging to Yahuwah your Elohim are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you commands and right rulings.
See, I've taught you commands and right rulings. Read.
As Yahuwah my Elohim commanded me. to do thus in the land which you go to possess. And you shall guard and do them. For this is your wisdom and your understanding.
This is your wisdom. James just told us, Yahuwah just told us that wisdom, Chokmah, comes from above. The Torah comes from above. It is spiritual. And we must be spiritual. We must be filled with Ruach, filled with the Torah, in order to do the true works of the Torah. Read, little one.
Before the eyes of the people who hear all the commands, and they shall say, only a wise and understanding people is this great nation.
Barak Yahuwah. A true Yahudi understands this. A true Nazarene understands this. A true Yahudi, a true Nazarene knows how to make the distinction between the spirit and the letter. He knows that the letter, and do not accuse this servant of saying that the letter is done away with. You didn't hear him say that. It's not. It's not. But if you only have an understanding of the letter going to kill you. It's going to kill you. But if you have the understanding that the letter, that the Torah is a compilation of written instructions given to children to teach us deeper spiritual matters, in order to teach us the spirit of the Torah, so that we can do the true works of the Torah. So that we can do the true works of the Torah, which leads to life. Which lead to life. The spirit and the letter. You must understand that, Yahudah. You must understand how to make a distinction between the spirit and the letter, so that you live, and so that you're not getting rid of the letter, but you're properly dividing the word of truth. You're properly teaching it. You're properly teaching the Torah, so as to open the eyes of undiscerning and unknowing people, to open their eyes so that they're not walking around with the falsehood as they do in the Christian church, saying that the law has been done away with, speaking falsely and ignorantly, not understanding what they're saying. We must understand how to make a distinction between the spirit and the letter, and we must walk in spirit. We must walk in Ruach. We must be living Torahs. We must do the true works of the Torah, which is always Ruach. Which is always Ruach, because the Torah itself is Ruach. Give us another precept, little one.
Galatians 5:19-21.
Galatians 5, Yahudym chapter 5, verses 19 through 21. I think this is our last precept before we move into Matthew.
Yes.
Galatians 5, chapter 19. Galatians 5, verses 19 through 21. Galatians 5, verses 19 through 21. Galatians 5, verses 19 through 21. Verses 19 through 21. Beginning at verse 19. Read for us, little one.
And the works of the flesh are well known.
Listen, the works of the flesh are well known. What he wants you to understand, hear him, is that the earth has been given to flesh. The earth is of flesh. This is why Yahuwah came in flesh. Understanding legal rights. The earth has been given to flesh. Hear him. The earth has been given to flesh. And so the only way to do the true works of the Torah is to walk outside of the flesh. Hear him. The Torah is not of the flesh. The Torah is Ruach. This is what Ephraim don't understand. This is what Ephraim, this is what Ephraim does not understand. And this is what many who call themselves Yahudym, but who are truly operating as Ephraim, they don't understand. The flesh cannot do the Torah, not the true works of the Torah. The Torah is Ruach. The Torah is Ruach. The Torah didn't come from this earth. The Torah came down to the earth. And to do the true works of the Torah, as Yahushua HaMashiach did, we must do so in Ruach and in truth. Come on, read, little one.
Which are these? Adultery, whoring, uncleanness, indecency, idolatry, drug sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousies, fits of rage, self-ambition, selfish, dissensions, factions, envy, murders, drunkenness, wild parties, and the like, of which I forewarn you.
Listen.
Even as I also said before, that those who practice such as these shall not inherit the reign of Elohim.
I'll take it a step further. I'm not taking it anyway. These are the words of the master. Those who are walking in flesh, and he said this before, are not going to Mount Zion. You're not going to Mount Zion. The text declares that these are the ones with the seal of the living Elohim. These are Nazarim. These are true Yahudym, who understand the true works of the Torah, because the Torah is in them, and we have been taken from the side of the living Torah, as Kua was taken from the side of Adam, being his bride, being his wife, being his counterpart here on earth now, his counterpart here on earth now, being his helpmeet, his Azar Nagab, and walking even as he walked, doing the true works of the Torah. This is what the master is calling us to in this season. This is a muadah. Hear him. This is an appointed time unlike any other. And this is what he is calling us to in this season. Right now, grow up, Yahudah. Grow up. Grow up or be left with the children. Grow up or be left behind with the children. And so now let's continue, Barak Yahuwah, to take a look at Hanatsah Yahushua HaMashiach, the branch, and ensure that we are branches of his, that we're walking as he walked, and now having this foundation and understanding of the true works of the Torah. Now going from this point forward, we're now understanding that everything he did was Torah, was the true works of the Torah. Feeding the poor, you know, with mouth that the world doesn't understand, with a few fish and a few barley loaves of bread, healing the sick, raising the dead, casting out devils. This is all Torah. This is all compassion. This is all life. The Torah is life. This is all about life, being that living Torah, doing the true works of the Torah, opening the eyes of the blind, opening the ears of the deaf. This is Torah. This is compassion. This is loving your brother or your sister as you love yourself. And it is the fulfillment of scripture, of the text. Because before the Messiah, no one was opening up the eyes of the blind and the ears of the deaf. This was one way in which they were to know that he was the Messiah, because no one had done that prior to him. But now that he has restored us, that the price has been paid, that there has been a blood price paid, and we have been blood bought, and we have been redeemed, and he has sent back his Ruach to us. He has declared that greater works, the works of the Torah, little one, this is what he's talking about, these greater works. Greater works of the Torah you gonna do, because I ascend to the Father. Greater works of the Torah that you gonna do. You're gonna be my witnesses in Yahudah and Shamarum and to the uttermost parts of the earth. Yahudah, lights in the midst of the Gentiles. And through you, many men are going to be drawn back to me, through the light coming through you, and through the good works that you do, the true works of the Torah. Many are going to be drawn back to covenant with me, Yahudah, because indeed I have spoken, the staff shall not pass, the scepter shall not pass from you, nor a lawgiver from between your feet, until Shilu comes. And if you are found doing these good works, if you are found doing work when I come, I'm going to reward you according to your works and deliver you from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon this earth. Matthew, we left off now. We last read Matthew chapter 5. We're now moving on to Matthew chapter 6. Let's look at some of these words. And let's look at Hanatsah. Let's look at the branch. Let's look at his Torah works. And let's make sure as Yahudym, as Nazarim, that we are walking as he walked. If you want to escape the hour of trial, you call yourself Yahudah, you want to get to Mount Zion, we must walk as he walked. We must walk as he walked. Hear him. We must walk as he walked, if we desire to escape the hour of trial. And those of you of the nations, if you desire to escape the hour of trial, you must attach yourselves to Yahudah. And you must walk as Yahudym. You too must walk as Yahudym. If you want to be connected to Yahudah and be called Yahudym, you must look like Yahudym. You must look like Hanassah. You must look like branches. No different than Yahudah. Matat Yahu, Matthew chapter 6. Matat Yahu, Matthew chapter 6. Chapter 6. The entire chapter. Again, as I said, I don't know. I never know in detail what the master is going to speak. I don't know what he's going to speak. And as we move forward, as he's spoken thus far, these are his words. They're not mine. This wasn't scripted. I don't know what he's going to say. And I don't know what he's going to say going forward as we continue in Matthew here, chapter 6. And perhaps maybe we'll get to chapter 7, time permitting. I don't know what he's going to say or what he's going to show us. The point is to pay attention to his words. To his words. To not look at this flesh and blood, this lowly dirt servant, this lowly shepherd of sheep, but hear his words being spoken through his servant. They are his words. They're not mine. I am nothing. I am no one. I am nobody. Without him, I am nothing. I am no different. I am nothing. I am no one. I'm as a branch that has been clipped off and dries up and is good for nothing but to be thrown in the fire. I am nothing without him, but through him I can do all things. Matat Yahu, Matthew chapter 6 in its entirety, beginning at verse 1. Come on, read, little one.
Beware of doing your kind deeds before men.
Oh, look at Ephraim, little one. Look at these religious folk, the Pharisees. Look at these religious folk. They all over Facebook. All over Facebook, all over YouTube. I once saw someone, they was taking pictures, little one. Snapping pictures. Talking about they was out doing the Father's work. That they was out sharing his word, taking pictures. Couldn't wait to post it to Facebook. Couldn't wait to post it. I see many doing stuff like that. Making videos of them talking to folk. Doing that kind deeds before others. Talking about how much money they've given someone. Letting their right hand know what their left hand is doing. This is not Nazarene. This is not true Yahudah. This is not true Yahudah. But there's a great separation going on in the earth right now. You better see them. You better see them so that you do not attach yourselves to them. They do their deeds to be seen of men. The master has told us that the way of Yahudah, that the way of a Yahudi, the way of a Nazarene is low and meek. Meek and lowly is the way. Meek and lowly is the way. Even when we begin to operate in this way, doing the true works of the Torah, it's not to be seen of men. It's for the esteem of the Father. We are to take on the same attitude as our master, Yahushua HaMashiach. Don't tell nobody what I did. You go and you give thanks to the master. You go and you give thanks to Yahuwah. Don't tell nobody here what because I've done nothing. You go and you worship the Father and you give esteem to him. I'm not looking for an esteem. I'm not looking for a platform. You go and you esteem the Father. But Ephraim, these religious folk, these Pharisees, they do their works to be seen by men. Come on, read, little one.
In order to be seen by them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in the heavens. Your reward is, you getting your reward right now. Do your works privately. You want to do something for somebody? Do it privately. Text them privately. Everybody ain't got to know what you're doing for somebody. Send it to them privately. You're just showing your fruit. You're just showing that you're Ephraim, that you're Ephraim. True Yahudis don't do this. Our true compassion, true love don't look like that. True compassion, true love doesn't care if anybody knows. If nobody knows, you better let the master deal with you about it. If you desire to make it to Mount Zion, because right now you ain't bearing the fruit of a Yahudi, of a Nazarene, you looking like Ephraim. You looking like these religious folks, these Pharisees, these modern day Pharisees who wear their zitzits real long, who do their works to be seen of men. Come on, read. Thus, when you do a kind deed, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do, in the congregations and in the streets, to be praised by men.
This is not a Yahudi. That's not what a Nazarene looks like. We imitate our master. We imitate our master. I've told you, if that person don't look like Yahusha, they are not a true Yahudym. They are not a Nazarene. You better run. You better flee. You better run. Least you find yourself in the valley of oh no, saying, oh no, how did I end up in the great distress? Then you're going to want to fight that person. You fighting them for. You follow them. You listen to them. No, this is not the behavior of a Yahudi. This is not the behavior of a Nazarene, in which our behavior should look like, it should imitate the behavior of the Mashiach. This is not Torah. The way of Torah is meek and lowly. The way of Torah is meek and lowly. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because the way of Torah is to be a servant. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And the way of a servant is meek and lowly. Meek and lowly. This is the way of a true Yahudi. This is the way of a true Nazarene. These are those who are going to Mount Zion. Come on, read.
Truly I say to you, they have their reward.
They have their reward. Come on.
But when you do a kind deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
Don't know what your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Ain't everybody got to know. No one else has to know what you're doing. Come on, read.
So that your kind deed shall be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret shall himself reward you openly. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites.
Don't use all them babbling words. Nobody impressed with your babbling words. Your prayer don't have to be that long. You ain't impressing nobody. Take them long babbling prayers back to Christianity. Yahuwah ain't impressed and we're not impressed with them. You better let him deal with that religion in you, because it's not of the master. Come on, little one, read.
For they love to pray standing in the congregation.
They want to be seen. They want to be seen of men. They want to be relevant in the so-called Hebrew community. They want to be important. They want platforms. They want people to see them. Meek and lowly is the way. This is not the way of a Nazarene. This is not the way of a Yahudi. This is not the way of our master. This is not doing the true works of the Torah. We don't do our works to be seen. We do our works from a place of compassion and love, wanting to please the Father, and because we love his children. Read, little one.
And on the corners of the streets to be seen by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward.
They have their reward. They have reward. There's no shortage of street corner preachers. They say that the master sent them. That's what they say. They say they've been sent. They say, but from what I read, little one, signs and wonders follow those who have truly been sent, who are truly doing the true works of the Torah, who are doing the true works of the Torah. Signs and wonders shall follow them. Many of them are doing that just to be seen of men, because you know what? When they're out there doing these street corner preaching, somebody's out there recording them. They can't wait to upload it to Facebook and can't wait to upload it to YouTube. If the master sent you, why does it need to be uploaded? Why do you need a platform? Why do you need to be seen? You hypocrite. You're a liar. You're getting your reward now. When you get the likes and when you get the applause of men, when you get the comments on your videos, that's your reward. When men exalt and esteem you, that's your reward. You getting your reward now. But shortly you're going to be fleeing from city to city and from thick grove to thick grove and hiding in clefts of rocks as the hunters come for you. Because you would not humble yourself and receive the living bread right now. Come on, read, little one.
But you, when you pray, go into your room, and having shut your door, pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the nations.
Don't keep on babbling like the Gentiles. You babble like the Gentiles, guess what? More than likely you are one of them. You are Ephraim. You are Ephraim. He is the Gentiles. Yes, he is. He is the Gentiles. We don't do stuff as Yahudym, as Nazarim, to be seen before men. The works we do for the Father. We do to the esteem of the Father, that our works may be clearly seen of men, that our Father may be esteemed through us, that they may see our good works and may be drawn to him, that they may see the true works of the Torah and be drawn to him and to him alone and not to us. This should always be our motivation as Nazarim, as Yahudym, and that is to esteem the Father and the Father alone. Come on, read, little one.
For they think that they shall be heard for their many words.
You ain't being heard because you're babbling words. You babbling because you're still in Babel. You're still in Babylon. You're still in Babel. This is why you're babbling with your many words, thinking that he's hearing you. It don't take all that. It doesn't take all that. You merely want to be seen of men. You merely want to be seen of men. You better allow him to deal with your low self-esteem, with your issues of low self-esteem and your issues of religion. You better allow him to deal with you before it's too late. That's not the fruit of a Yahudi. That's not the fruit of a Nazarene. Come on, read, little one.
Therefore, do not be like them.
Don't be like them.
For your Father knows what you need before you ask him.
Mm-hmm.
This then is the way you should pray.
Uh-huh.
Our Father who is in the heavens,
mm-hmm.
let your name be Kadosh.
Mm-hmm.
Let your reign come. Let your desire be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Give us today our daily bread,
mm-hmm.
and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Mm-hmm.
And do not lead us into trial,
mm-hmm.
but deliver us from the wicked one.
Mm-hmm.
Because yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. Amen.
Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. This is indeed a foundational prayer. We find the Mashiach praying in different ways, dependent upon the situation. He prayed in different ways. In different ways, but this indeed is a foundational prayer. Barak Yahuwah, read, little one.
For if you forgive men their trespasses.
For if you forgive men their trespasses. Now listen, we're not Christians. We are not Christians. One who offends us, one who has committed crime to us, must come to us in repentance. And if he comes to us repenting 70 times 7, we must forgive him. We must forgive him or her. But the text declares also in another place, if your brother commits a sin against you, go to him and convict him. If he repents, then you forgive him. If he does not repent, then you go and you get 2 or 3 more others and you bring them to convict them. If he still does not repent, then you take him to the assembly. You bring him to the assembly. If he still does not repent, then you are to treat him as one of the Gentiles. You are to treat him as one of the nations. One who does not repent. The Gentiles do not repent. They do not repent. The master has one people. One people. And if you repent and accept Yahushua HaMashiach, you become engrafted into that people. You're no longer a Gentile. You become a fellow citizen of Yahshua. But as long as you remain a Gentile, there is no forgiveness for you. There ain't even no offering for you. No. There is no offering for you. If you're still a Gentile and offering as a Gentile, he came to his own. You have an opportunity to receive that offering. But that offering is in accordance with the Torah in every way. And you must operate in the Torah to receive that offering. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. In Acts chapter 2, verse 38, it says in the words of Kaf, it says, wherefore repent. Repent and then be immersed in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach for the remission or for the forgiveness of crimes. Why? Because there's an offering required. There's blood required for the forgiveness of your crimes. And when you are immersed and offered with the HaMashiach, you are being impaled with him. You are dying with him. And you're being resurrected to the newness of life. Thus having the offering, the requirement for an offering fulfilled. In accordance with the Torah. In accordance with his righteous Torah. But you must first repent. Repent from what? Repent from your Torahlessness back to Torah. And after you have been immersed in his name, then receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. And at that point, you are now part of his people. Because at that point, you have been brought back into covenant with him. Because at that point, a circumcision in accordance with the righteous Torah has been made. Oh, nations, you cannot be redeemed outside of Torah. You can't be redeemed outside of the Torah. There is no plan of redemption outside of the Torah. It is the only way. Barak Yahuwah, come on, read, little one.
Your heavenly Father shall also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither shall your Father forgive your trespasses. And when you fast, do not be sad-faced like the hypocrites.
Don't be sad-faced like the hypocrites. Don't nobody need to know you fasting. No one needs to know you fasting. No, that's a private thing between you and the master. No one needs to know you're fasting. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be like Ephraim. Don't be like Ephraim. No one needs to know that you're fasting. That is a private matter between you and the master. If he led you to do it, that is between you and the master. Come on, read, little one.
For they disfigure their faces so that they appear to be fasting to men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward.
They have their reward. Come on.
But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you do not appear to men to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly.
Shall reward you openly. Come on.
Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth.
Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth. If you indeed are born from above, why are you laying up treasures here on earth? Why are you being caught up in earthly matters? Why are you being caught up in fleshly matters? If you're truly born from above, why are you laying up treasures on earth for yourself? If you are truly born from above. Come on, read.
Where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart shall be also.
Barak Yahuwah, read.
The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness?
Oh, you better allow him to deal with that darkness that is in you. You can't read the light. You can't understand the light of the Torah unless there is light in you. You cannot keep the righteous Torah, which is Ruach, which is spiritual, unless there is light in you. Ensure that there is light in you, and that the light that is in you is not really darkness. A true Nazarene does not have this worry. A true Nazarene knows that he or she has been taken from the side, from the rib of the master, and is an extension of him, because they are in constant contact with him. Constant contact with him. And he reassures them that they are his, that he is in them and they are in him. Come on, read, little one.
No one is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cleave to the one and despise the other. You are not able to serve Elohim and Mammon. Because of this I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you shall eat or drink, or about your body.
A true Nazarene will give up everything. A true Nazarene, as in the text declares, do not have the love of silver. The love of the root of all. The love of money is the root of all evil. A true Nazarene, a true Yahudym, like our father Abraham and like all our righteous fathers, has no love of money, has no love of this earth, has no love of the pleasures of this earth, has no love of the things of this earth. A true Yahudym, a true Nazarene, has already counted up the cost and has given up all. Has given up all. A true Yahudym, a true Nazarene is not double-minded, cares not for the things of this world, cares not for the pleasures of this world, cares not for riches. A true Yahudi has his or her eyes on Shamayim, has his or her eyes on the treasures of Shamayim, has his or her eyes on the Father and the Father alone, and desires to please him and to please him alone, and desires to see his face, desires to recline upon his bosom, desires to sit at his feet, desires to be with him always. A true Yahudi is looked upon as being some kind of lunatic, as being crazy, as having lost in his or her mind. Not looking like everybody else. Not speaking, not trying to fit in with everybody else. Not trying to fit in with family, not trying to fit in with other people that look like you. Not caring what they think about you. Simply desiring to please the Father. This is what a true Yahudi, a true Nazarene looks like. Come on, read, little one.
What you shall put on is not life more than the food, and the body more than clothing. Look at the birds of the heaven, for they neither sow nor reap, nor gather into storehouses, yet your heavenly Father does feed them. Are you not worth more than they?
Understand the Torah here. Understand the Torah. If you are a Nazarene, if you are a Yahudi, not only are you not going to behave in the manner which he outlined above, but you understand as a Nazarene, as Kua, you have now been taken from his side. As Kua, and you are his bride, you are his wife, you are branch, you are his counterpart, you are his Azar Nagab, you are his helpmeet. And as his wife, a husband must provide food, clothing, and marital rights to you. This is Torah. This is Torah. And he is a good husband. He is a good husband. If you are his wife, he will never let you go without food. As he provided his bride food in the wilderness, for 40 years he fed them. And for 40 years their clothes did not wear out, nor their shoes. For 40 years he gave them water, although sometimes he tested them in order to see what was in their heart, to see if whether or not they would obey him, and to teach them that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahuwah. Nevertheless, he did not allow his bride in the wilderness to starve, or to die of thirst, or to go without clothing. He called them out of Egypt to be his bride, to be his wife. As the marriage process began in Egypt with a purchase, with the shedding of blood of a lamb, which was a shadow of the shedding of blood of the lamb that was slain before the foundation of the earth. There was a purchase. There was a betrothal. He then brought his bride to Mount Sinai for the exchanging of the vows on the day of Shavuot, for the exchanging of vows, otherwise called the 10 words, the 10 Dabarim, the 10 commandments. And he took care of his bride. Despite the way his bride cheated him, he took care of his bride for 40 years. He fed them with manna from above. He gave them water to drink. He gave them meat and quail in the evening. Their clothes did not wear out, nor did their feet swell. And so as a husband, he gave them food, he gave them clothing, and indeed he gave them marital rights. He did. How, you say? When he came and communed with them as a cloud by day and a fire by night. Our husband communed with our ancestors. And there are accounts to where he came down in the tent of the tabernacle and communed with them. It is also written in the text that when Moshe removed his tent outside of the camp, that the cloud would come and rest upon his tent every night. He came and communed with his wife. And so he provided them food, clothing, and marital rights. He even gave them shelter. And so if you are in covenant with him, having been taken from his side, having been born of him, Him having entered us as a man enters a woman, and he becoming our husband. We have no need to worry about food. We have no need to worry about clothing. As our husband, he will provide all of those things, understanding the lesson in Torah that he's teaching here. This is Torah. He must provide our food. He must provide our clothing. And he must provide marital rights. He must come and commune with his bride. He must enter us. Come on, read, little one.
And which of you by worrying is able to add 1 cubit to his lifespan? So why do you worry about clothing? Note well the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And I say to you that even Shalama, in all his esteem, was not dressed like one of these. But if Elohim so clothes the grass of the field, which exists today, and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more you, O you of little belief?
O you of little belief. Understand the greater works of the Torah, the true works of the Torah. This is what the master just explained to you, in which is written in Exodus the 21st chapter with respect to a man's responsibility to his wife. This is the spiritual matter of the Torah. This is what that letter points towards. Points towards him as our husband, providing these things for us. This is the true works of the Torah. And he will provide the same supernatural food for us and through us that he provided in the wilderness to his people, because we are his covenant people. We are his bride. If in fact you are truly his covenant people, if in fact you are truly Yahudah, because Yahudah at the moment is his covenant people. Hear him. Ephraim is still divorced, and Ephraim will not be restored back to covenant until after the great distress, when he comes out of the nation, out of every nation, tribe, and tongue. Only then will Ephraim be restored to covenant. As of now, Yahudah, having never been divorced, is his covenant people. And thus, to be a true Yehudi, a true Nazarene, you must be in covenant with him. He must have had entered you. You must be a Nazarene, an extension from his side. And if you are, whether or not you are one of the nations or Ephraim, having come out of the nations like the prodigal son and attached yourselves to your older brother, if you have done that, then you have been brought to become a part of Yahudah, because this scepter shall not pass from him, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Yahusha comes back, until Shiloh comes back. So you must connect yourselves to Yahudah through Hanassah and become Nazarene. And if that is the case, you have become his bride. If that is the case, you are Nazarene, and that is the case, he will withhold no good matter from you. As in accordance with the Torah, he will provide your food. He will provide your clothing. He will provide your marital rights. Come on, read, little one.
Do not worry then, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For all these the nations seek for. And your heavenly Father knows that you need all these. But seek first the reign of Elohim
seek
and his
ye
righteousness.
First the reign of Elohim and its righteousness. Righteousness is Torah. More specifically, righteousness is obedience to Torah. Righteousness is doing the true works of the Torah. The reign of Shamayim and what? And its righteousness. That's not of flesh and blood. That righteousness is of Ruach and of truth. That is the true works of the Torah. This is what a true Yahudym seeks. All of these words were written, were spoken to Yahudah. He was speaking to Yahudym. These words are spoken to Yahudym, to Nazarene. We are to seek ye first the reign of Shamayim and its righteousness. Righteousness is Torah. Righteousness is the true works of the Torah manifesting. The obedience of the Torah manifesting. The Torah says to feed the hungry. That means that, so in feeding the hungry, that becomes righteousness. That is obedience to Torah. That is obedience to Torah. But again, what if there is no food? How then is that righteousness manifested? It is manifested in the true works of Torah, which comes from Shamayim, and seeking first the reign of Shamayim and its righteousness. Come on, read.
And all these shall be added to you.
And all these shall be added unto you. Your food, your clothing, your marital rights. It will be added unto you. Whether or not it comes from other men or whether or not it is supernatural. Whether or not it is manna coming in the wilderness. Whether or not you have escaped and ran while there's a drought in the land for 3.5 years as you have prayed and the heavens were shut up. And the master led you by a brook, and we're talking about all Yahu. Led you by a brook, and ravens fed him in the morning and the evening with bread and meat. As the master fed him and sustained him supernaturally because he was in covenant with him. Whether it be through men or whether it be supernaturally, all these things will be added unto you if you are his bride. If you are a Nazarene, his counterpart, his Azan Nagab, doing the true works of the Torah, just like he did. All these things will be added unto you. Come on, read, little one.
Do not then worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow shall have its own worries. Each day has enough evil of itself.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. This is spoken to Yahudah, to Yahudym, to Yahudym. Align yourselves, Yahudah. Grow up and understand the true works of the Torah and align yourselves with this so that you're not found to be hypocrites, so that you're found to be doing the true works of the Torah. When the true works of the Torah begin to manifest in you, don't be like the hypocrites, doing your works to be seen before men, wanting to show off, wanting the platform, wanting a YouTube channel, or cannot wait to upload it to Facebook. Do your works to please the master and to draw men to him and to him alone. So that through you, through your good works, the true works of the Torah, that perhaps men will be drawn to the light of Yahuwah, so that perhaps they will be saved from the hour of trial, which is soon to come upon the earth. I think we're going to read one more chapter. How are we looking for time, little one?
132.
Barak Yahuwah. Let's go to chapter 7.
Okay.
Matthew chapter 7. Master wants us to understand the true works of the Torah, the spirit of the matter. The spirit of the matter, of what the letter is trying to teach us. He wants us to understand the spirit of the matter. Everything that the master did was the manifestation of Torah. The manifestation of the true works of Torah. Everything that he did and he taught was about the true works of the Torah. The spirit of the matter. And all the works that he did were the works of Torah. The true works of Torah, which is Ruach. Matthew chapter 7. Matat Yahu chapter 7, beginning at verse 1. Read, little one.
Do not judge, lest you be judged.
Do not judge, lest you be judged. Hear him. Hear him. Now the master clears this up in the second chapter of Romans, as Paul clears this up as a witness. What this means is, how do you judge? How do we judge? Yasha'al. How do we judge? Out of the mouth of 2 or more witnesses, let every matter be established. And we judge according to Torah. We judge one another according to Torah. What the master is saying here, in judging a matter, in rightly ruling a matter, if there are Christians listening, the master taught Torah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. In rightly ruling a matter in accordance with the Torah, if one is caught in the matter of adultery and you are called to judge, make sure that you ain't committing adultery. Make sure that you are not doing the same thing that this person is doing. If you're judging a matter of a thief, make sure that you are not a thief. Make sure that you are not doing the same thing that that person is doing. When judging a matter, judge it rightly, ensuring that you're not being a hypocrite, that you're not doing the same matters that this person is doing, in which you are judging and which you are right ruling according to the Torah. As with the woman supposedly caught in the act of adultery. But when she was brought before the master, no man was brought with her. And in accordance with the Torah, when a man and woman is caught in the act of adultery, they both male, man and woman, are to be stoned to death. They only brought a woman. They were hypocrites trying to catch the master, trying to entrap him. And so this was not right ruling. This was not rightly judging or rightly ruling a matter. The master demands right ruling. He demands compassion. He demands belief. And so when rightly ruling a matter, when correctly adjudicating a matter, we must ensure that we are not guilty of the same thing of which we are adjudicating, or the same thing of which we are rightly ruling. This is what the master is talking about here, Christian. Doesn't mean that you can go out and commit all kinds of wickedness and use the excuse, don't judge me. Well, you're right, Christian, we don't judge you. We've got nothing to do with you. We judge the household of YAHUAH'S. The master Yahuwah will deal with you. And he's going to deal with you shortly with his chastening with his chastening rod. Otherwise called the great tribulation of the great distress. Oh, he's going to drive that folly out of you. So we are not to judge you. We do not judge you. We are to judge the matters within. And when we rightly rule and adjudicate matters within, we are to ensure that we're not being hypocrites, that we are not guilty of the same thing in which we are rightly ruling or adjudicating. Come on, read, little one.
For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged.
For with judgment you judge, you shall be judged, of course. If you judge somebody for adultery and you commit an adultery, you're going to be judged for the same thing. If you judging somebody for witchcraft and you a witch, you're going to be judged for the same thing. Because you're judging them for the same thing that you are doing. This is what the master is speaking about. But if you are rightly ruling and rightly adjudicating a matter, you are not committing adultery, and you are rightly ruling this matter. This is in accordance with right ruling and his righteous Torah. Come on, read.
And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you.
Right, because you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. You're talking about folk and you're doing the same thing that they're doing. You're doing the same things that they are doing. True Yahudym, Nazarene, we don't do that. We don't do that. We do not do that. That's for the hypocrites. That's for the nations. That's for the Gentiles. That's for the modern day Pharisees. And that's for Ephraim to do. We don't do this. We rightly rule and rightly adjudicate a matter, firstly looking at ourselves before looking at others. Come on, read, little one.
And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye?
Here it is. Why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye?
But do not notice the plank in your own eye.
But do not notice the plank in your own eye. We look at ourselves first. Because we walk in right ruling. We walk in righteousness. We ensure that we are walking upright and circumspect before the master. This is what a true Yahudi does. A true Nazarene. We ensure that there's no plank in our eyes before trying to right rule somebody else or before trying to correct someone else. We ensure that there's no plank in our own eyes, that we're not being hypocrites, but that we are as our master is, perfect as he is perfect. Come on, read, little one.
Or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see a plank is in your own eye?
And see a plank is in your own eye. What he is saying is you're trying to remove something from his eye, and you are doing the same thing. You are engaged in the same behavior. You are a hypocrite. Now he uses this as an example to talk about right ruling and correctly adjudicating a matter under Torah. But to correctly adjudicate and judge a matter and rightly rule a matter under Torah, you've got to ensure that you're not doing the same thing. That you don't have that plank in your eye. That you are in alignment with Torah. That you yourself are in alignment with Torah before you try to correct someone else with respect to the obedience of Torah. Come on, read, little one.
Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye.
Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye.
And then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye.
Then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter from your brother's eye. You see, a Yahudi is a mature person. We are mature. We are quick to listen and slow to speak. We're not quick to open our mouths. We're not quick to have a flood of words come from our mouths. We don't have that condition of diarrhea of the mouth because we're meek and quiet folk. Yes, we are. Meek and lowly is the way. We're like our master. We're like Abraham, who was a meek and quiet man. We're like Yitzchak, who was a meek and quiet man. We're like Yahudim, who was a meek and quiet man, walking upright and circumspect before the master, not being hypocrites. We ourselves walking orderly in the Torah. We ourselves doing the righteous works of the Torah, doing the true works of the Torah. And so if we have to rightly rule a matter in accordance with the Torah, 2 or more witnesses, one person doesn't rightly rule or judge anything. To rightly rule a matter, there must be 2 or more witnesses to rightly rule a matter. To rightly rule. But when rightly ruling, we are ensuring that we don't have the same plank in our eye that they have in theirs. Being hypocrites. Being hypocrites. This is the lesson in which the Messiah is teaching here. Come on, read, little one.
Do not give what is kadosh to the dogs.
Don't give what is kadosh to dogs. What is kadosh? What is kadosh? The works of the master. The righteous works of the Torah. The true works of the Torah. This is kadosh. The word of Yahuwah. The Torah. This is kadosh. You don't give this to those who are unclean or who are dogs. You don't give this to them. This is the children bread. It's not for the dogs. Unless that dog says, "Yeah, but master, even the dogs eat the bread from the children's table." Unless they humble themselves. But otherwise, this is not for the dogs. Oh, you don't understand. You don't understand. This is not for the dogs. You don't give that which is kadosh to the dogs. You don't give it to them. They won't appreciate it. They will not appreciate it. A dog don't appreciate a good bath. A dog would take a bath, a good bath, and then run outside and roll right in some doo-doo. Yes, he will. He don't appreciate a good bath. No, he doesn't. You don't give what is kadosh to dogs. Use discernment. Don't be looking for a platform all the time or looking to be important. Let the Ruach lead you. A Yahudi man, a Yahudi woman is mature enough to know not to give what is kadosh unto dogs. We use restraint. We use self-control, which is the fruit of the Ruach. And we do not give what is kadosh to dogs, either through the works of the Torah manifesting, or through the spoken word. Through the spoken word. I recall, little one, that was a Roman centurion who was real good to the people. He was a dog, little one. He was real good to the people and built them, as the text says, built them synagogues. And the leaders of that place came to the Messiah and said, this man's servant is sick. Please, master, go and see about him. Go and heal this man's servant, because he has been found worthy, little one. He's been good to us. He deserves this. See, a Christian would take these words. See, they don't understand the words of the master. He means what he says. He says, don't give what is kadosh to dogs, because they ain't going to appreciate it. They're not going to appreciate it. They're going to go right on right. They're going to go right out after receiving a good bath and roll in that which is unclean. They're going to go right outside and roll in some doo-doo, because they have no appreciation for the things of Yahuwah. And so he says here, don't give what is kadosh to dogs. Do not give what is kadosh to dogs. And so they had to ask the Messiah to go and heal that man. And that Gentile woman who had the demon-possessed daughter, she had to humble herself. She had to humble herself in showing that she had the fruit of one of his people, of a sheep, being low, being meek, being humble, being docile, being mild. And when she demonstrated this, healing came to her house. The children's bread, which is the ruach, which is deliverance, came to her house. Understand, do not give what is kadosh to dogs. We're not called to speak to everybody, Yahudah. You ain't called to speak to everybody. You must be led by ruach. You ain't called to speak to everybody. Again, a dog will be washed and go right out and return to his vomit and go right outside and roll in some dookie. Don't give what is kadosh to dogs. Be led by the ruach. Be led by the ruach. His word, his Torah is wisdom. It is chokmah. It is valuable pearls. It is more valuable than anything on this earth because in it contains life. And life is inheritance. Life is the inheritance of the Father. It is more valuable than anything. It has value. And so you don't just give it away freely, nearly as though it has no value. It is very valuable. You don't even do the righteous works of the Torah as it applies to healing to just anybody. We must be led. We must be led before we give his kadosh things away. We must be led. These things are valuable. They are of him and they are valuable. So you must be led before doing the righteous, before doing these works of Torah, the true works of Torah, and speaking Torah, speaking life. You must be led. You don't give this to dogs. What does it say, little one?
Nor throw your pearls before the pigs.
No, throw your chokmah, your wisdom, the Torah. Pearls of wisdom. This is chokmah, this is Torah. Nor throw it to pigs. We're still talking about the unclean, the Gentiles. Those that care nothing about this, that care nothing about the clean, do not care anything about the clean and the unclean. Do not care about the true works of the Torah. They don't care about it. Some will, some won't, but you've got to be led. You've got to be led. These things are valuable. So you do not throw these valuable pearls of chokmah before pigs. Least what, little one?
Least they trample them under their feet.
Least they trample them under their feet. You can throw these valuable pearls of chokmah to someone who is a Gentile. And they will not only trample these valuable words of chokmah, these valuable words of wisdom under feet, but they will also attack you and trample you underfoot. Use chokmah and go where he tells you to go, do what he tells you to do, and speak what he tells you to speak. You're just a servant. You ain't in charge of nothing. You're not in charge. You're a servant. Doing what your master's called you to do. You do, we do what he tells us to do. We speak to whom he tells us to speak to. We give his words of chokmah to whom he tells us to. We heal whom he tells us to heal. We don't go out on our own doing anything. We do what he tells us and leads us to do. This is what a true Yahudi who is fully mature, who is a Nazarene, understands. Come on, read, little one.
And turn and tear you in pieces.
And turn and tear you in pieces. You can't give these words, these pearls of chokmah to just anybody. They will trample you underfoot and attack you. They will attack you, and they will have a legal right to do so. Hear him? They will have a legal right to do so because you didn't have a legal right to speak to them. They ain't your property. They belong to Hasatan. They belong to the devil. You didn't have a legal right to speak to them in the first place. Oh, don't listen to me. Go out there on your own and do it and see what happens. Become one of the 7 sons of Sceva and get beat out your clothes. You don't go where you don't have a legal right to be. A while ago, about 2 years ago, my wife and I, some of you have heard this story. We invited some people over to share Passover with us. And one of those persons, I took it upon myself. I'm going to cast this Jezebel out, this person. I'm going to cast it from esteem to esteem, Ms. Parker. Esteem to esteem. You know, I was trying to be a super brew, as they say. And I'm gonna cast this Jezebel out of her. Well, problem is that Jezebel had a legal right to be there, and she wanted it to be there. She didn't even recognize that it was there. And so as I began to war, as I began to pray and talking about casting out this Jezebel in her, which is the very Ruach of Hasatan himself, and which is a very stubborn Ruach, the Ruach HaKadosh, the master spoke and said, what did he say, little one? Retaliation. Retaliation. And they retaliated on us, me specifically, for 30 plus days. I had to fight. I had to fight in my life for 30 plus days because I did not have a legal right to do that. That Ruach had a legal right to be in her. She had signed a contract with it. She had made a covenant with it and signed a contract with it. Who am I to go into this thing's house and to drag it out of this person's house when this person has invited it to live in their house? I didn't have a right. I didn't have a right to do it. And so we must be certain that we have a right. If the master leads us, we got a right. We got a right. If he doesn't lead us, we do not have a right. You risk having these devils trample you on the foot. You risking your life is what you're doing. You risking your very life. You risking getting them white garments before we get to Zion. Provided. Provided. I'll leave it there. Provided. Because ain't everybody getting white garments. No. Don't fool yourself. Ain't everybody getting white garments. Barak Yahuwah. Come on, read, little one.
Ask and it shall be given to you.
Ask and it shall be given to you. Ask for that living bread. Ask for the Lakam Shamayim. Ask to be his branch. Ask to be a Nazarene. Ask to be his counterpart. Ask and it shall be given to you. We're talking about the Ruach HaKadosh. We're talking about the gift of the Ruach HaKadosh. We're talking about the living bread from Shamayim. Read.
Seek and you shall find.
Seek and you shall find him.
Knock and it shall be open to you.
Knock and it shall be open unto you. The master spoke last week in that you are to seek him now. For those of you who have ears to hear, that you are to seek him now while he may be found by you. Because a time is coming shortly when you're going to search for him from sea to sea and from land to land, and he will not be found by you. So you must seek him now while he may be found. You must seek, you must ask, and you must knock and beg for the Ruach HaKadosh, for the seal of the living Elohim right now while he may be found by you. Read, little one.
For everyone who asks, receives.
Everyone who asks, receives. If you ask from the right place. Read.
And he who seeks, finds.
And he who seeks, finds.
And to him who knocks, it shall be opened. Or is there a man among you who, if his son asks for bread, shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, shall give him a snake? If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in the heavens give what is good to those who ask him? What is good here is the Ruach HaKadosh. This is that good gift in which he's promised us, both those who are near and those who are far off. And indeed, hear him, only those who have been sealed with the seal of the living Elohim, who have received the gift of the Ruach HaKadosh, who have become Nazarene, who have become true Yahudym, and who are walking in that manner, who are walking requisite of a Yahudym, of a Nazarene, looking like our master. Only these are going to enter into Mount Zion, who are doing the works of the Torah, the true works of the Torah, which we cannot do unless we have been born of Ruach, unless we've been born of water and of Ruach. Only these are going to enter into Mount Zion. Read, little one. Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is Torah. He's still teaching Torah. Even the seeking of the Ruach is Torah, because the Torah is Ruach. The Torah is Ruach. He tried to reach our people, our ancestors in the wilderness. He wanted to pour his Ruach upon them. But they went and built a golden calf. He wanted to pour out his Ruach upon them. He wanted them to be a nation of priests. But because they went and committed idolatry and made the golden calf, they went from being a nation of priests to a nation under priests.
And then because they became a nation under priests, he then did what? He poured out his Ruach upon the priesthood. Upon the Levitical priesthood, he gave his Ruach to them so that they became mediators, so that they could teach the people, see, this is what you're missing. This is what you're supposed to be. You were supposed to have his Ruach like this. You were supposed to have his Ruach like Masha and Aharon and the sons of Aharon. You were supposed to have this same Ruach, but you denied the Ruach. You wanted to go back to Egypt. You wanted to go back and sit at the feet of Hasatan because you loved him rather than the Father. Because you love wickedness, because you love darkness rather than light. So he didn't give them the Ruach. He didn't give it to them. And so, but he wanted to give it to them as well. Just like he wants to give it to his people in this season. All would fall, who would fall before his feet and seek him and ask him and knock for the gift of the Ruach HaKadosh, whereby receiving the seal of the living Elohim, whereby being born from the side of Hanatsah, the branch, whereby becoming branches, and whereby becoming his counterpart, having the Torah written upon our heart, and at this moment being equipped to do the true works of the Torah, which are demanded of us in this season. Come on, read little one.
For this is the Torah and the prophets.
Come on, go back a little bit, little one, because they didn't hear it.
For this is the Torah and the prophets.
Go just a little bit higher than that, little one, because they just think I just run my mouth. Come on, read a little bit.
Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them.
Yes.
For this is the Torah and the prophets.
For this is the Torah and the prophets. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. This is the Torah and the prophets. Come on, read.
Enter in through the narrow gate.
Enter in through the narrow gate. And this is the gate in which we are entering in, getting to Mount Zion. This is the way of Torah, doing the works of Torah, doing the true works of the Torah. Enter in through the narrow gate. Read.
Because the gate is wide and the way is broad, that leads to destruction.
That leads to destruction, and which the whole world is on. There's only few, and he's given you some characteristics. He's shown you, if you're not a Yahudi, if you're not a Nazarene, and you must look like a Nazarene, you must look like the Messiah, and you must walk in this way. You must talk like him and look like him and walk like him to be considered a true Yahudi. To be a true Yahudi. And there's very few who look like this. Very few who look like this. Everybody else is on that broad road that leads to destruction. Very few is on the narrow path that leads to life. Everybody else is on the broad path that leads to destruction. And even in this season, as he does this great work and he does this great separation in the midst of the earth, he's making it easy and easier for us to identify who are his and who are not. Come on, read, little one.
And there are many who enter in through it, because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life. And there are few who find it. But beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing.
Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing. Read.
But inwardly they are savage wolves.
But inwardly they are savage wolves. Read.
By their fruits you shall know them.
By their fruits, by their works of righteousness. By their works of righteousness you shall know them. By works of righteousness, by true works of righteousness, you know who is true Yahudah. You know who is the true priesthood. You know who is the true Nazarene. By works of righteousness. This is what separates who are his and who are not. True works of righteousness. Read.
Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes?
Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes?
Or figs from thistles?
Are figs from thistles?
So every good tree yields good fruit.
So every good tree yields good fruit. A Nazarene who is attached to the vine, hear him. You cannot help but bear good fruit, Nazarene. Yahudah, if you are connected to the vine. If you say that you are connected to the vine and you are not bearing good fruit, you are a liar and the truth is not in you. True Yahudym, true Nazarene, bear good fruit. We don't bear rotten fruit. We bear good fruit because we are connected to a good vine. We bear good fruit. We do the true works of the Torah. We do the true works of righteousness. These are those he is coming to gather shortly. Read, little one.
But a rotten tree yields wicked fruit.
A rotten tree yields wicked fruit. Read.
A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit.
A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit. He or she is connected to the vine. He or she is the bride. He or she is a Nazarene, is a true Yahudym, doing the true works of righteousness, doing the true works of Torah. And he or she is unable to bear rotten fruit. If they are bearing rotten fruit, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. They come with the excuses. I slipped up. I slipped up. You know, I slipped up. I didn't mean to do that. I slipped up. Hear him. A good tree cannot bear rotten fruit. Hear him. A true Yahudi, a true Nazarene does not bear rotten fruit. They are perfect. They are perfect, doing the true works of righteousness, doing the true works of the Torah. These are not my words, these are his. These are his. And he's trying to speak to a people, to true Yahudym who have ears to hear, who will align themselves with this, who will seek him unlike they've ever sought him before, to cling to him, to ensure that as we are clinging to him and joined to him, that we are doing the true works of righteousness and the true works of the Torah in this season. Come on, read, little one.
And a rotten tree to yield good fruit.
A rotten tree cannot bear good fruit. A rotten tree cannot bear good fruit. Cannot bear good fruit because a rotten tree, a rotten vine is not connected to the vine because it has been cut off and thrown down and to be dried up and cast into the fire. This is where the rubber meets the road, Yahudah. This is where the rubber meets the road. Either you are true Yahudah, a true Nazarene, or you're not. If you're a true Yahudah, a true Nazarene, then you will bear the true fruit of righteousness. You will do the true works of Torah. And a true Yahudym, a true Nazarene, cannot bear bad fruit. Cannot bear bad fruit. You want to make it to Mount Zion, you better heed. You better heed. Read, little one.
Every tree that does not bear good fruit,
hear him,
is cut down and thrown into the fire.
Is cut down and thrown into the fire. Read.
So then by their fruits you shall know them.
By their fruits, by their works of righteousness, by their fruits of righteousness. This is how you will know them, not by their knowledge of the Torah, not by their knowledge of the Hebrew language, not by their Hebrew garments, not by their names or their name changes, not by where they live, not by the size of their assembly, by their works, by their fruits, by the fruit of righteousness, by the true works of the Torah. Consistently will you know them. Meek and lowly is the way. Meek and lowly also is the way. By their fruits you will know them. Come on, read, little one.
Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of heavens.
Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the Shamayim. Read.
But he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens.
He who is doing the true works of the Torah. This is his desire. He who is doing the true works of the Torah shall enter. Read.
Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name?
Have we not prophesied in your name?
And cast out demons in your name?
And cast out demons in your name?
And done many mighty works in your name?
And done many mighty works in your name?
And then I shall declare to them,
Listen,
I never knew you.
I never knew you.
Depart from me, you who work lawlessness.
You depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Many false prophets will arise in this season. He just told you up above that a good tree cannot bear rotten fruit, and a rotten tree cannot bear good fruit. He just showed us above. And so many false prophets are going to rise in this season, operating in signs and wonders, Yes, they are. This is nothing new. They're going to operate in signs and wonders. But they're not going to do the true works of the Torah, which is always motivated by love and compassion. They're not going to do the true works of the Torah. And these works that they're doing is not of their own. They're doing it in his name. In his name. But they're false prophets. Do not we will not know them by the casting out of demons and by the performance of miracles and by their prophesying. This is not, the master said, this is not how he says we will know them. By their fruits, by the consistent fruits, the fruits of righteousness. This is how we will know them. This is how we will know them. But he says here, many will say, Master, Master, in that day, have I not prophesied in your name and cast out demons in your name and performed many miracles in your name? And he will declare, depart from me. I never knew you, you worker of lawlessness. Now, this is the Greek word genosko. And it is, in the Greek, it is genosko, but it's from a Hebrew idiom. It's from the, it's from a Hebrew word, and it's alluding to a Hebrew idiom here, and it alludes to carnal sex, to carnal love. It alludes to coming together as man and wife, becoming one flesh, and because in order for the master to know us, as Adam knew Kua and she conceived and bore Cain, our master has to know us in order to enter into covenant with us. He has to enter us as a man enters a woman in order to know us, and in order to enter into covenant with us, and in order to circumcise our heart and clothe the nakedness of the heart. And when this happens, then and only then are we equipped to do the true works of the Torah. Many are going to who are going to say, Master, Master, in that day. But he will declare to them that I never knew you. I never entered you. I never had relationship with you. I never entered into covenant with you. So those works were for yourself. Those works were for you to have a platform. Were for you to get the esteem of men. Yes, you got your reward then. Because men thought you were important. Men thought that you were from me. Men lifted you up. They esteemed you. They invited you to do television shows and radio shows with them. They esteemed you. You got your esteem then. But I never knew you. I never entered you. I never had relationships with you to establish a relationship. My Ruach never entered you to establish my covenant with you. And if my Ruach, hear him, and if my Ruach doesn't enter you to establish my covenant with you, then you can't do the true works of Torah. Which here he says, depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. You can't do the true works of Torah unless Torah is in you. Otherwise, you're just doing lawlessness. Because again, the Torah is from above. It is not of this earth. It is spiritual. It is Ruach. And we can't do the true works of the Torah unless the Torah has entered us, unless he has known us as a man knows a woman. Come on, read, little one.
Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and does them shall be like a wise man who built his house on the rock.
Everyone who hears these words and does them will be like a wise man who built his home, his house, on a solid foundation. The solid foundation of truth. It is truth that is being spoken to you today. On a solid foundation of truth. On the solid foundation of Torah. Read.
And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them shall be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain came down, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and they beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And it came to be, when Yahushua had ended these words, that the people were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one possessing authority, and not as the scribes.
Barak Yahuwah. A Yahudym man, a Nazarene, will not speak as the scribes. He will speak as one having authority, provided that he has been anointed to teach the Torah, that he has been anointed to proclaim. He will speak as one having authority. There are many who speak as one having authority, but Really, truly, all they're doing is yelling at you because all you need do is look at the fruit. All you need do, always just look at the fruit. Look at my fruit. Look at my fruit. Look at my fruit. All you need do is just to look at the fruit. To look at the fruit to determine the tree. Determine if whether or not they are a true Yahudi. If whether or not they are a true Nazarim. If whether or not they have truly been taken from the side of the master. Look at the fruit. Look at the fruit. So the master is calling us to walk as he walked. To do the true works of the Torah in this season. To be no longer children. To understand what the true works of the Torah looks like. To understand the difference between the letter and the spirit. And to walk as true Yahudym. To walk as true Nazarim. To do the true works of the Torah so that we are found working. Well doing. So that we are being lights to the nations. To whomever he sends us to. So that perhaps some of them will be drawn out of darkness into his marvelous light. And saved from the hour of trial which is soon to come upon the earth. So that we will hear those words, well done, my good and my trustworthy servant. So that we will be found doing his work. So that we will be found doing his work, so that when he comes with his reward with him, he will reward us according to our righteous works, according to the true righteous works of the Torah. Thank you, Master, for your words this day. Thank you, Master. For giving me the strength, Master, to sit before your people, to proclaim your words as you gave them to me. It is my prayer that not one word on this day, not one